Hello everyone and thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and make your point subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it on whatever we've definitely got to bring to, as long as it is post and as long as it is Arsenal related right about here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your host Abu Gauss, as we definitely talk sport, talk everything sporting right about here at the Arsenal chapter. As long as it is Arsenal related, we are always the first people to give it to you straight as it comes in, and you definitely know that we're heading into the summer transfer window. Just a few hours, I should say now, a few days, okay, and we officially enter the summer transfer window, but transfer business has already begun. The official date is the 10th of June, but it's already begun. The transfers have already begun with some football players already accepting personal terms, that is a little bit tricky, but some football players have already started accepting personal terms. So I should definitely think that things are running a little bit fast this time round. Clubs are trying to make sure they can get football players, and things are going on quite well for different clubs as they have already started the transfer business, and even some clubs have reportedly been. It's said that some clubs have already signed, just they are waiting for announcements when the transfers officially begin. That's what should we classify that as? Should we classify it as cheating, or it has no cheating? Anyway, as long as everybody's happy about it, then why not? Anyway, the football player that we're talking about today is none other than Marco Asensio, who was heavily linked. He was heavily linked to Arsenal in the summer transfer window. Marco Asensio was heavily linked to the club Arsenal in the summer transfer window, but we thought, oh, he's going to be moving to Arsenal, but it didn't happen. And now, in the general transfer window, the last concluded general transfer window, he was also heavily linked to the club, but it didn't go on as expected, as planned, And right about now, I must say, the things are still the same. Things are definitely still the same, and Marco Asensio is still linked to the club Arsenal. However, a lot has gone on, and Mikel Arteta says one of his best targets, one of his biggest targets, is Marco Asensio. But Marco Asensio has also been linked to a number of clubs, including Aston Villa. I'm just going to say the clubs that are very serious about him. There are two main clubs. The transfer has three, Arsenal included. And also you can't rule out Real Madrid 100%, but we're not counting Real Madrid because it looks like he's had a few issues with Carlo Ancelotti, and that's why he's not played. But the 12 goals he's definitely had, the 12 goals he's scored the last season have been eminent, have been very wonderful goals, and every time he has been given a chance, to impress, to play, he's definitely impressed, and that has run on quite well. So the fact that Marco Asensio is an attacking midfielder, and Arsenal is looking for a midfielder, and it was also linked to Mason Mount. Let's wait and see how this definitely goes. How will it end? Because PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, has come out and said they are more than ready to sign Marco Asensio, and they are ready to give him quite a lot of money. And a club like PSG, when you've got a club like PSG, I mean, I don't know that PSG doesn't break FFP rules, because they've got football players that They've definitely got football players that are paid quite a lot of money. When you see how much Lionel Messi is paid at PSG, when you see how much um, from PSG pays Kylian Mbappe and also Neymar, you can tell that being in a bidding war with PSG is not easy. It's not easy at all because they've got the money and they're willing to invest it, willing to buy big players. So we've got two managers. I think let's leave Aston Villa aside. Aston Villa. Marco Asensio is not going to go to Aston Villa. I don't see any chance. I don't see any probability of Marco Asensio going to this club. Aston Villa, I know they've bought a few good players before, but I think Marco Asensio could be out of their league. He's a world-class football player, and despite that, he's a free agent. And the fact that Marco Asensio is a free agent, he will look for the best team there is. He will want to join the best team out of whichever teams have requested him, because he's been at Real Madrid. He's been at Real Madrid for a very long period of time, and the fact that he's been at Madrid and he's not had that chance to move to another club for quite a big period of time, and now the chance comes after 10 years, and with Real Madrid not very interested in him, Carlo Ancelotti making sure that he does not play quite a number of games. I don't think Marco Asensio is very happy about staying at Real Madrid, because while any football player definitely wants his gameplay, and when you deny a football player gameplay, then that is totally a different story. That is a different story, absolutely. Because look at it this way: which football player would really want to join a club that is not would like to stay at a club while this club is not giving him enough gameplay, and yet there are football clubs that are saying you play 90 minutes. Yeah, and sometimes even it isn't about even the money, because they get quite insane amount of money, unreasonable amounts of money compared to the common man. They get a lot of money. But we should definitely think money is not going to be a big problem at a point for a football player like Marco Asensio. What he's looking at is Marco Asensio is looking at comfort, a place that he will comfortably play football, and a place that he will comfortably play football, and also a place where he will get fast team football. Those are two different things also. So I definitely think if Marco Asensio comes to Arsenal, that will be a very brilliant move he's made. He will have made a very wonderful move, a very good move. What's wrong with this microphone? That will be a very good move for both himself, and also not only himself but also for the club Arsenal. And we will be seeing quite a big number of Arsenal fans very happy about it. Marco Asensio, attacking midfielder. Marco Asensio coming to Arsenal. That would make good news, good headlines. So, uh, we will definitely be, if Arsenal, of course, as I told you before, Arsenal clubs are willing to give Arsenal quite a lot of money for their football players, but Arsenal is not, doesn't look like it's selling players. However, for a fact, we know a football player that is leaving the club. The biggest percentage says this football player is going to be leaving the club, and that is none other than Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka has been heavily linked to a number of clubs, and I don't know exactly why he's leaving Arsenal, but I think Mikel Arteta says that he can get a better football player. He can get a much better football player, and let's wait and see how all this definitely goes. But it will be a brilliant one. It will be a very good one. If at all this transfer is definitely done. Transfer business is here, and as you already know, it always gets mad in the transfers. And here, as we are telling you about Marco Asensio and him joining the club, Arsenal, that would definitely be a brilliant one. You will be remembered that Chelsea was a little bit linked to Marco Asensio, but after some time they withdrew. But FFP rules, and they do not allow Chelsea really, because the first thing they need to do is sell, not buy. They need to sell quite a big number of football players to make sure they can balance their books with FFP rules. And sometimes you think also these FFP rules are unfair and stuff. But also in the Premier League, Arsenal would have become maybe the first, because there's a big chance for Arsenal to become the first club, because there should have been a point deduction for Manchester City because of bleaching over 100 rules. It's not breaching those, but Man City has committed over 100 offenses in regards of bleaching the FFP rules. And we've seen it. We've seen clubs like Juventus being reduced. Points were deducted. So, deducting points, I know that's the other side of Europe, but I mean, there should have been points deduction, because it's not a fair game when you've got all these good football players, and that's where the FFP a bit is not okay. You can't have all these good football players and the other club does not have the football players, not because they cannot afford them, but because they are not because they do not afford the football players, but because they're trying to abide by the FFP rules. So there should have been a point deduction, 10-point loss, and if 10 points were deducted, then Arsenal would have taken the trophy, But it is what it is. The rules are still there, and we are waiting to see what will definitely happen. And Marco Asensio and his move to the club, Arsenal, is something that we are looking at, but also seeing a bit of limitations in there, and Paris Saint-Germain being one of the biggest limitations ruling out Aston Villa because Aston Villa is not that serious about him. They want him, but I don't think they've got the money. And Arsenal have got the money, and they've got also the willingness on their side. Otherwise, let's hope Marco Asensio ends up at the club Arsenal. Thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right up here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your host Abu Kals, as I tell thank you and goodbye for now.